pledge allegiance to your flag, cause I can't find no reconciliation with your past. When there was nothing equal for my people in your math, you forced us in the ghetto, and then you took our...
If the Democratic Party does not push the issues that you want to see, then the idea of voting for the lesser of two evils is a ridiculous concept. If you support Bernie Sanders' platform or Jill Stein's platform, I just recently went to a Jill Stein talk here in Atlanta, and it was nice to see people who don't buy into the idea that they have to vote for one of the two big parties. And she talked about a platform that's almost very much like Bernie Sanders. If you don't see what you're looking for in the Democratic Party platform, you don't have to vote for Hillary.
No.
You don't have to vote even for Trump. There are other candidates and options. There is Jill Stein. There is Gary Johnson, who's a libertarian I don't agree with, but that is an option. There's Bernie Sanders if you want to write his name in, if that's available in your state. But I know you want to talk about Jill Stein and the concept of voting for her. What are some of the thoughts you want to share on that?
So a lot of people, one of the common, so many of you are going to Google and search, should I vote third party? And the Google search results are going to 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you, heck no, don't do that, you're wasting your vote, etc. I actually venture to say that you can't waste your vote. Every vote has a purpose.
Yes.
And most of all, you should be voting your conscience. You should be voting for values that represent you. For people to say that they're voting for the lesser of two evils, that's essentially saying that you have one candidate who doesn't represent your interests, and you're going to choose another candidate that doesn't represent your interests in spite of the other candidate. Well, that being the case, why don't you just go ahead and vote within the Republican Party if you're a liberal? Why don't you just go ahead and vote in the Republican Party and choose between Ted Cruz and Trump, right? Yeah. Because you're choosing the lesser of two evils, you may as well, right? Neither one of them actually satisfy your goals or do anything that represents you. So the thing is, about this election season that's different from any of the other ones is the massive wave of independent voters. It's something like 44%. The reason why there's so many new voters that are independent voters is literally because these are new voters. These are people that are coming out of high school. There's just a wave of new young people from the ages of 40 and below that are either first-time voters or they're re-engaging in the political system after being
like disillusioned for so long. So with that being said, right now is the time to, if you're trying to play long game, you're trying to be smart and stuff, to really set the stage and play strategically and say to yourself, okay, I have the opportunity to get with my friends and my friends get with their friends, and we start pushing candidates or parties that represent our interests to the forefront. Everyone who says that we should vote the lesser of two evils and who genuinely believes that, just hear what I'm about to say. This is really important. I hope you get this. To say that means that you are never going to get the change that you really want. When you say vote the lesser of two evils, you're admitting that you have two choices that you don't like that you consider negative. And you're saying you should pick the one who's not as bad. But if you keep doing that, you're going to keep getting bad candidates because your vote does say something, okay? And so what it will continue to say to the establishment is, oh, they just say they want change, but when they get to the ballot, they're going to continue to vote for status quo, which means we could continue to establish and push the status quo. But if you say, no, we are tired of that, we are not going to accept it, we refuse to have the only options be an ignoramus con artist who speaks to xenophobia and racism and bigotry in order to get votes, even if that's not how he really feels, a man who doesn't understand foreign policy at all, can't properly pronounce the name of various countries, doesn't understand what's going on in the Middle East and how the U.S. has caused so much of these issues. And on the other side, you have somebody who is not an ignoramus, but intentionally lies, intentionally misleads, has power, and will wield it as they see fit so that they can do what their donors and the people who fund them want them to do, and that's Hillary. So when you tell me vote for the lesser two evils,
you're telling me that you don't want things to change.
Yeah.
You're telling me you don't believe change is possible. And there was a time in this country when people didn't think that blacks would be able to integrate into society, especially if you're black. People fought and died and suffered so we could vote. So that doesn't mean that you have to go out and vote. I'm not saying that. I hope you do. But I understand for some of you if you don't. What I am saying is vote with intention. With intention. Even if you don't go vote, do it with intention. Have a reason for what you're doing. So this whole thing of vote for the lesser of two evils, don't buy it. Don't believe it. And if they really want to challenge you on them, show them this video and point them to us. Because I will tell them, I'm tired of hearing it, especially from Hillary support.
Especially
Tired of hearing.
in this specific case, because you know, I really want to challenge people on that, because like if we're actually talking about a moral obligation to vote for one of these two candidates, right? If you consider yourself to be liberal, if things like children, right, are important to you, if you're if you consider yourself a liberal, if things like protecting life is important to you, if things like, you know, ending wars and interventionism and American imperialism are important to you, then you as a liberal have a moral obligation to oppose Hillary Clinton till the day you die. That is no exaggeration, because the worst atrocities that Trump has alluded to, Hillary Clinton has done.